This episode of The Breakfast Dish is brought to you by Career Essentials, a new podcast from techlifetoday.ca and Nate.
I think Dad maybe wrote for Tech Life once or twice.
I think he did too.
Oh my God.
Break up Nate for me. Northern
Alberta Institute of Technology.
Good boy. Career Essentials offers real-world advice and insight into different careers and career paths. It features the stories and experiences of NAIT alumni with lessons for everyone. What do you think they would tell you?
I'll tell you something about NAIT alumni. Huh? A lot of the film sets I've worked on have a lot of NAIT grads on it.
So they would be telling you to follow some sort of film career.
Something like that.
Which you did. They're so smart. Discover perspectives, tools, and tips essential to career growth and success, no matter what stage you're at in your career journey. A recent episode you might find interesting features Edmonton chef Stephen Brochu of Milk Crate.
I love Milk Crate.
He explains why mental health in the restaurant industry often gets ignored and shares what he's doing to change that. Gosh, bless you. Stephen Brochu, where were you when I was 18?
Stephen, you a bro. Shoo.
Find Career Essentials on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find it at techlifetoday.ca/podcast.
And they're going to have funnier jokes than my Brochu joke. Come on.
You tried, boy. You tried. Mommy's proud.
Tell me your dreams over bacon and eggs. We'll share a laugh and a story and even a wish on the breakfast dish. Bop, 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 bop,
This is my favorite part where Griffin and I find out who actually talks first.
No, wait, hold on, because you've introduced the idea of a game. Because now what it is a game of chicken. This is, tell me your dreams. This is the freaking intro music, and then it's going to fade into me getting mad at you for introducing this duel, this fencing match between you and I. This
rivalry we have of who gets to talk first.
Okay.
Whose voice goes first.
Now we started the episode, but I want to try like 15 seconds of silence.
Okay.
And I'm going to see who breaks it. And go.
Me, Neil Diamond. There, see? You didn't even have to wait for that.
I knew it. You're too considerate of our guests to let 15 seconds of silence go by.
It wasn't about the consideration for the guests. It was about I must mention Neil Diamond in every single episode.
You've heard it here, folks. Karen Johnson Diamond has no consideration for her guests. We got her. Get her, boys. That's the cops behind you. You're done. Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 34th episode of The Breakfast Dish. Karen, what do we do on The Breakfast Dish?
Well, Griffin, I would tell you, except I appear to be in handcuffs and I'm getting stuck in the back of a paddy wagon.
I was hoping, I love the term paddy. That's a crazy term.
Okay, here's what we do. Once upon a time, I used to go out for breakfast with people and then put their picture on Facebook because I thought people should know other people that they might not know. And I called it the Breakfast Series. And then it was Stay Away From Each Other Times. So during Stay Away From Each Other Times, you and I are making a podcast called The Breakfast Dish, which is an offshoot from the Breakfast Series, in which we talk to artists who are making, creating, providing,
one more,
showing, dancing, laughing, cooking, and squeezing some art.
Our next guest will be someone who just laughs for 40 minutes. On the Alberta Podcast Network.
What we do here is we talk to artists who are creating art that are either online consumable or socially distanced consumable or just imaginary. Anyway, that's what we do on this podcast. I'm the mom. He's the son.
Hi.
This is a high pressure episode because this is only the second time that we have had 3 guests, but 2 of them are kick-butt teenagers, and one of them is Griffin's old drama teacher. You remember those feelings you got when you'd run into your teacher in the grocery store and it'd be so weird because you're seeing them out of school and it was really weird? Well, now Griffin is looking at Michelle Crimmins in a Zoom box surrounded by 2 of her students, Morgan and Sam, and it's all weird because no one knows if we're going to call her Michelle or Miss Crimmins. It's so weird.
Yeah, or it's weird because Karen's going into her serious, scary voice and saying it's all of it is weird.
Anyway.
Did we ever see each other in public outside of school, Miss Crimmins?
No. See, you did it. You did it. You
Fuck,
did it.
what do I say?
Please, Griffin, you're nearly 30 years old. You should definitely call me Michelle by now. I know it's weird. Just try. Say it.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, I'm like 56.
That's weird because I'm like 55.
That's crazy.
He's just barely 24. Don't
Just
age
barely
my
24.
kid.
Okay.
I think this is
Okay.
going to turn into my nightmare. What's happening right here?
Yeah, you're going to get ganged up on.
Not only that, when you called her Miss Crimmins, then you swore after. So not only that, but you just F-worded your old drama teacher.
That's right.
Okay, well, here's a little peek behind the microphone, ladies and gentlemen. We're recording at 9:30 p.m. Okay, so this is the breakfast dish at night. This is breakfast dish after hours, unplugged. I don't give a hoot. I don't give a frig.
Yeah, now it's that awkward moment where you see your students after hours, but also at 9:30 p.m., which is weird on so many levels, definitely.
I don't think that we ever saw each other outside of school.
No.
Am I wrong about that?
You're not wrong. We never did, but we do have mutual friends. So I would see you
Yes.
in their wedding parties and I would see you in their backyards, but always through social media. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a funny twist.
Yeah, one of the screenwriters of Abracadabras, Alana Wright, I think like a year into me meeting her, was like, do you know Michelle? I went, what? And she went, Michelle Crimmins. I went, yeah. She's like, we used to hang out all the time. I went, okay.
She's a rock star.
Yeah, oh, she's cool.
And you went, also, her name's not Michelle, it's Ms.
No, listen, I got better education at Central Memorial's Performing and Visual Arts program to guess that the first name was Ms.
True.
Speaking of the education at Central Memorial High School, there's a very specialized program there that we're going to talk about, but it's hard to get into. And we're going to talk to two students here
It's hard to talk about.
who got into that program. So
It's serious.
to introduce you, and we can hear your voice so people can put a voice to a voice because they can't put a voice to a face. Morgan, hello, welcome. How are you? What is your favorite breakfast food?
Hi, thank you so much for having us. I think my favorite breakfast food is waffles with fruit on top.
Awesome.
It's so good.
Now, are you talking about like restaurant fun, do the press fancy waffles? Or are you talking like Eggo in the toaster oven?
Ooh, I was thinking Eggo, but now that you've mentioned like the pressy fun ones, I think the pressy fun ones.
Right. So the reason I asked is there a specific Eggo flavor that you like?
Oh, just original, just normal.
Okay, great. I love it. I love it.
Later, I have an Eggo story.
I also want to say Morgan's screen name right now on Zoom is It's Me. So she came into the Zoom room and all we saw was It's Me. And Karen and I had a real conversation like, do we let this person in? But having a screen name It's Me is funnier than anything we could have thought of on this show. That's kind of the peak.
I don't know how it got like that.
I think I'm going to change my screen name to like, Let Me In. It's time for the Zoom meeting. Like that'll be the name. It's pretty good.
Sam, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. What is your favorite breakfast food?
Hi, thank you so much for having me as well. My dad makes really, really good pancakes.
Aww.
And he's super nice because he's currently working from home like many other people right now. But I wake up really late, so he always makes pancakes and he makes like a huge batch so there's more throughout the week. So I can just like wander down before class and then grab pancakes and come back up and eat them during class. It's amazing.
That's my favorite breakfast story so far on this podcast.
Yeah.
The extra dad pancakes, because you just have to go down to the fridge to your kitchen to get one to come back up to sit at your computer and go to school, right?
It sounds like the way that you phrased it. It sounds like that he has a backup dad. Like listen, real dad. I love the pancakes you make, but man, extra dad's pancakes. They got blueberries.
Here's my real quick story. One time I was on tour with Quest Theatre and we booked in the bunch of us at a bed and breakfast, bed and breakfast. You have an image of what that's going to be. We get there and it's an old disco, like it's an old club that he's just put bunk beds in and the dance floor is still there. And so you're all kind of like eating on the dance floor. And this was the breakfast. Ready? A bag of oranges and a box of frozen EGGOS. And they were just sitting on the counter for us when we arrived.
How much did you pay for your frozen disco waffles?
It was too much. We probably each paid like $70 a night for that.
Oh my God.
No.
I know.
I stayed in the disco bunkhouse and I got cold waffles.
Here's my question, Sam. Having heard that story, are you still interested in following a career in the arts in any way?
No, we can't.
Absolutely. Frozen disco Eggo sounds better than anything that my dad could ever make.
Can you please call the episode Frozen Disco EGGOS?
Sorry, who are you asking? You're editing this
Oh,
one.
I'm editing it. I'm calling it that.
Frozen Disco EGGOS.
It should say Sam, Morgan, Michelle, and it's going to say Frozen, Disco, EGGOS.
That's right. So by the end of the episode, we have to decide which one of you gets one of those three nicknames, which is tough, and that's hard, and that's scary to put on somebody.
Yeah.
The other option is that in the podcast description, we put in like relevant links, like our guests like social media sometimes, or links to like tickets. And I think at the bottom of that link list, we should put Frozen Disco EGGOS and then leave it blank, because then listeners will go, what happened here? It has to be a tragedy, I have to imagine.
I just snorted.
Too much.
All right. I should clarify. I've just accused Sam of wanting to go into a career in the arts. I don't actually know if that's your plan. As a student, wait a second. I'm going to even back up. Michelle, can you just tell me about the program at Central before I start asking Sam and Morgan about it?
Sure, absolutely. So the Center for Performing and Visual Arts at Central Memorial High School is a program within a regular high school, like a normal public high school. And really what it features is specializations in specific areas of the arts where students can study their chosen area for 90 minutes a day for a whole school year, rather than for just only one semester. And they also have the option of extracurricular, but also accredited courses that they can take after school. So for specific to theater arts, our course is advanced acting, which is how these guys got connected to production, radio theater, recording, networking, kind of understanding how all of that works. We also bring in quite a few guest artists from throughout the city, and now that we're virtual, we can really pull from all over the country to come in and work with our students on a class-by-class basis in areas of their specialty, so that our kids are getting really just instructors who are really passionate and very, they just have a long history with what they are great at. And I think when you're studying the arts, it's such an honor to work with someone who is still truly passionate and experienced in what they're doing. And it supports the local community too. And we're really happy to have people like Jane McFarlane, who I know is on here, come in and work with our students and do voice training with them. And, she works with them from year to year, and they build a relationship, and then she can help them make choices for after high school and kind of guide them where they're going. So yeah, it's a really special place. I definitely wish that I had a place like this to go to high school. When I was in high school, I had no idea that
me too.
This was even a possibility. Yeah, it would have been incredible. So we're really proud of our program. We work really hard, and our kids are fantastic. We love them.
Well, there are some, like you say, that you do really support the community by coming up with some amazing graduates of your program. Yeah. People like Emma Fleming, perhaps, or Griffin Cork.
Griffin Cork.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Come on, right? You only have the two before you got to me.
There's a number out there for sure. I think of, especially in Griffin's year, like Kiana Wu and Quinn Lazenby and Sage Kitchen a year or two before you. I mean, they are still out there. They're still working. And even someone like Sage has come back in to teach our students more recently. And we're trying to get Griffin through the door too. And I think that would be a really awesome experience for our kids. So I think just being able to give back in that way and bring alumni back to share what they've learned on the other side has been such a wonderful experience for us as teachers to learn from our students, because they've gone on, continued to pursue what they're great at, and they're fantastic with our kids. So it's great.
So back to my previous assumption, Sam, are you following a career in the arts? Is this your chosen profession right now?
Yeah, I got into the Vancouver Film School for the acting and TV program, and the Bachelor of Fine Arts program at UBC for acting as well. So I'm going to go to VFS
Sam,
next year.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. So
I didn't know. Oh my
Making
gosh.
miracles happen on the breakfast.
But I'm a little bit stressed because my post-secondary stuff is so focused around acting. If that falls through, I have no backup plan, so I'm kind of screwed.
Well, okay, I'm going to come back to the fact that you have a backup plan, but first I want to talk to Morgan. Morgan, is your chosen career path involving the arts in any way?
My main focus is not the arts, but I'm taking a minor in theater arts because I want to keep it in my life, because I think I would be very sad without it.
Can I ask what your main focus is?
Yeah, I'm going to UBCO for cultural study.
Whoa, cool.
Love that. Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm really excited.
I was going to guess veterinary. I don't know why, but I just looked at you and went, well, obviously she's going to be a vet.
I wanted to be a vet when I was younger. So if you had said that like 10 years ago, you would have nailed it.
So smart.
I had a second today where I wanted to be a vet.
It seems like a fun job.
No, it's because
but
our
also
dog
sad.
was driving him crazy and he wanted to put the dog down.
What
Guys, no.
are you talking about?
Too
No.
far.
What?
No.
I was watching.
Griffin.
I think I was watching a TikTok where there was clips of a lady washing a dog and trimming and making a dog look from very hairy to very primped. And sorry, Karen, what you said over there was I wanted to put our family dog down? Is that what you said,
She did.
Mother?
Don't worry, I'm going to cut it out.
No, I'm going to talk about it for the next 4 minutes so that you have to leave it in.
Also, a vet isn't the same as a groomer. So,
I know.
Fair
I went down the thought train. I'm not going to be one. I'm not smart enough to be one. That's obvious.
There's still time, Griffin. You're only 24, so you could still do that.
I'm only 56. I can do this.
You're only 56. You're only a year older than me. No big deal.
So we talk about if your acting doesn't pan out, what do? You have no backup plan, but Morgan has acting is the backup plan. But Sam, you are here on our podcast today because you are heavy in the tech element of the radio plays we're going to talk about. So is technical theater a backup plan for acting?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about that, just working like sort of backstage, because before these radio plays, I worked backstage at Central's productions, and it's been like super, super fun. So it's definitely a backup plan if acting doesn't pan out.
I don't know if Michelle knows this. When I found out about Central Memorial's Performing and Visual Arts program, I was in grade 11 already at my previous high school. So I made like a 20-minute PowerPoint to present to my parents, because from my house, my current high school only took me like 15 minutes to get to, and Central took me like an hour and a half to get to by bus. But I was like, no, here's why I should do it. And I sat my parents down and I was like, listed out, like I think it was the 4th time that I used PowerPoint in my entire life, and maybe the last time now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, it's a great program.
The first thing on the PowerPoint was, Dad, you've always told me if I want to do a job, I have to do it the best I can. And this is the best school with the best training. And my husband went, damn it, he's got me now.
Yeah, really turn that around on old Pops. Got him. Got him.
Get Dad first, then you get Mom. Is that how it works? The Johnson Diamond House?
Oh, no, I was all over it. I'm like, be an actor. Go to Central.
Mom's the one that's still the actor, so she was an easy sell. It was the financial planner dad. He was like, sorry, I have to buy you a bus pass? What?
Okay, but here's a legit question, though. Do you still have that PowerPoint? I'd love to see it.
No, okay, here's a little mannerism about me is emails, texts, documents that I don't consider that I need anymore, I delete. And that's for storage reasons. I've had too many times where I go, oh, my phone's full. But also because I love having, oh man, a clean inbox is like, a clean documents folder, hachi machi. That's the things you start to appreciate when you're 56.
And when you're a true millennial. Definitely. That's a millennial.
Yeah, definitely. Boy, oh boy. Love those. I love those screens.
I'm only 54, so I keep everything, and I have emails from 2008. Not kidding.
I really do miss teaching you. That was a blast. That 1 year you were with us. We had so much fun.
Do you remember that I, without prompt, designed my costume for Wedgie with a gray overshirt that had multicolored lines on it? And then just happened to find that exact shirt in a Vancouver vintage store.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing. Yes.
It was crazy. You were with me, Mom. Do you remember that? When I freaked out and I was like, I drew this!
Mom!
Which isn't, like, at face value, not impressive. It's a gray blob with colored letters. But I didn't know that it was there, is the thing.
You know what, Griffin? Just don't ever forget. Remember Wedgie. We got to do a reunion tour.
Wedgie.
Remember Wedgie.
Dork.
Morgan.
Yes.
Central Memorial's theater program right now.
We're going to get to the real interview portion, the real meat and potatoes so soon.
Yeah, here we go. You guys are doing radio plays as part of your educational experience in the arts. Please tell me everything you can about that. Go.
Okay, so last semester I assistant directed the radio plays, and this semester I'm actually in them, and it's been so cool. From both sides, like from behind the scenes and then to like actually acting in them. And I think everyone has learned a lot because it's been so crazy, like everyone trying to figure out the new thing with COVID and everything, and like having kids go into isolation and like still trying to keep going. And I just think it's like this week Central's online this week. So I was supposed to have rehearsal yesterday, but I didn't because we're all online. We're all like isolated. So it's just crazy trying to stay on top of everything when people are leaving all the time. So it kind of teaches you to like be resilient and stay on top of everything and keep going even when it gets really hard.
And see, that's super interesting because voice directing is a whole other beast. There's a few other theater and film directors that know that I go like they will not touch voice directing because they're used to being able to be like change your face, change your body, do those kind of things. But just voice directing is from what I've heard, very tough. So learning that, oh my God, that's so cool. How has specifically voice directing been as a process for you?
It's kind of, as like an assistant director that's still a student, it's kind of hard to try to tell like your friends and the people that are on the same level as you to like, oh, hey, don't do that. It sounds bad. Because you don't want to say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you want to find like the best product. And I found myself getting very critical of people, but I wouldn't ever say it out loud. But I love the process. I thought it was really cool. And it definitely is hard because people can't change their voice. Like it sounds one way and it's hard to shift it when you've been using your face and body to act for so long and then all of a sudden it's just your voice. So it's difficult, but I think it's really cool.
That truly is one of my probably sticky wickets about a lot of post-secondary theater schools. Like in my training, oftentimes a classmate would get up and do a monologue and then the professor would turn and be like, so what do we think about that? Any thoughts for your classmate? And I hate that part. I hate it so much. I hate it when I'm up there and I hate it when I'm I don't want to tell your pentameter, sir, idiot. I don't want to do that.
I don't think you should become a drama teacher, though. I think maybe definitely cross that off the list if that's how you're feeling.
Hey, way to go, Bryson. You look like a fool up there. Anyway, sit down. You failed this class. Let's go skateboarding.
Sam, when Morgan is talking about assistant directing, is she assisting Christian Gutzis of 6 Degrees? Is that the main director, or do you have more than one director?
We have more than one director. Christian worked with us a little bit through Zoom calls, but obviously he couldn't come in and be a part of every rehearsal. So we have, last semester we had Michelle Crimmins and Lee Lancaster, who's another teacher at Central. And then this semester we have Kelly Gutzis and Paul Malloy.
I've heard of them.
Who are other teachers at Central. And usually what we do is we'll do a recording, and then every 2 weeks we'll send our most recent recording to Christian, and he gives us feedback because it's really helpful with someone who has experience in the voice acting industry to have sort of feedback from them, as opposed to us who know nothing because we've never done this before.
Right. I've taken a couple of workshops through 6 Degrees during this year off, and holy man, I've learned a lot. And I had to pay for those workshops. Mm-hmm. You soak it up while you can.
Please don't get mad at our guests for being students. You can't do that. Sorry.
They're just kids, Karen.
Hi, sorry. Griffin Cork here. I'm kind of known as the cool podcast police, and I really look out for our guests. I think Karen said at the beginning of this episode that she doesn't have any consideration for our guests, and it's really starting to show here. So I'll be the fun lieutenant. And I think something to shine a light on here is that working on audio plays, like radio plays and radio dramas, is not something that Central always offers. It's something that they switched to because of the pandemic. So they, or at least in my time, it was all theater training, and because that wasn't possible, because of the capability of the program, it was switched to still have training in the industry while still respecting protocols. Either Michelle, if you can speak to what the transition was like, or Sam or Morgan, if you had previously done any of PVA's theater training, what the switch to not in-person theater was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think my experience would be different than the students, but also share some similarities because we're so used to running 4 productions a year, and we're always in after-school rehearsals until late, and we're used to the community feel in the live audience and just like what rehearsals does for relationship building within a cast. That kids can kind of rely on for friendships and relationship building. And so to pivot to radio theater, it meant that we could still have separate casts, essentially 4, but within those casts, they would have to break down into smaller pods of 5 or 6 people. And just in keeping with social distancing, physical distancing, things like that. So I I think for us on our end, it definitely felt like a big leap of faith, a big risk, which I was personally excited about. And I know my coworkers were too, because we hadn't taught this before. And here we are now responsible for directing it. And it felt like, okay, we wanted a challenge, and this creatively is going to take us to a different level, and it's going to be frustrating at times, and it's going to be really rewarding at times. So I think just jumping into that risk and getting some help from our neighbors over at 6 Degrees Music and Production through Christian Gutzes. He was kind of our main liaison teacher, acting coach, mic technique coach, and he was fantastic. He would come in and work virtually with the kids. We would have professional conversations with him too about, what do I do with this group? How do I direct them here? So yeah, there was a lot of layers to it. And I think ultimately it was one of the best decisions we could have made. And I'm actually finding myself really grateful for what happened, in that we had to shift and change into a COVID-friendly show, because I learned a ton, and I would definitely do it again in the future down the road, because it was really neat.
Sam, Morgan?
I thought, so I was in a musical in grade 10 and a play in grade 11, and they were both really cool experiences. And it's so much fun too, because there's like the snack table, and like people bring snack on certain days, and there's sleep-in days where you don't have to come to school for first period. And there was definitely like a talk this year was like, do we get sleep-in days with the radio plays? And it's like, no, it's such a disappointment. But then the actual production was so different, because like for the play I was in last year, there was a big fight scene, so like lots of physical contact, obviously. And then with the recordings, we're like in these isolated little boxes 6 feet apart from everyone. Like it feels a lot more isolated, of course, in the recording. But then when you listen to it back, it sounds all put together. I think it's been a really cool experience being able to do both. And I have loved the radio plays. And if there's an opportunity to do them again, I would like to do them again down the line.
Yeah, it's really cool because, like, obviously Central's done, like, plays and musicals before, so they're used to doing, like Michelle said, like, 4 productions a year, but then to have to shift so quickly to still being able to do something, because we obviously can't do plays and musicals, but how quickly they shifted to radio plays and how well they're produced, it was so crazy, just, like, their adaptability and everything. And, like, it's so fun. Like, obviously, like Morgan said, like it sort of feels like more isolated, where like we don't get like the snack table, or like we don't get to like chill with the cast or whatever, or like we can't chill with the cast, but we've like got to socially distance and wear masks, so like you don't know what any of your cast members look like anymore because it's been a year. But yeah, like radio plays, they're definitely really, really interesting, and like I really appreciate the fact that like we've sort of got to experience a different side of production as opposed to just being on stage. It's been really cool.
Yeah, because no other high school students are going to, like Griffin wouldn't have come out with that as a grad. I didn't ever get that kind of training in college or anything. So, and Christian worked on the Vertigo ones too, didn't he? Wasn't that a collaboration with 6 Degrees, Griffin? The Vertigo radio plays?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
And It's a Wonderful Life, who we spoke to Sheldon Elter about. That was also, 6 Degrees was also in that co-production.
Yeah, and he also, a few years ago, he actually directed a show at Central, one of our main stages called Other Worlds, and it was actually a radio theater script that he adapted to set up. So the set was actually made to look like a 1940s recording studio with all the live sound Foley and the microphones. And so the actors would be at the front and you'd have the artists in the back. So it was almost like the audience, well, it was like the audience was watching a live radio theater recording. And it was such a cool experience. I remember sitting there and my brain was just like, oh, there's so many neat elements to this. And then when it came back around and we decided that we were going to do radio theater, I thought of that and I was like, that's essentially exactly what we're going to be doing. And it's so exciting because there's so much going on in the room, and yet all of the attention has to be focused on those microphones to pick up what we want to pick up and not pick up all the other sounds. And I mean, when you're in a school recording, you also have the band rehearsing next door and you have the construction room on the other side, doing some things. And yeah, it can definitely be very difficult to record in a school after school. But yeah, very neat experience. Christian did a really wonderful job on that show. And I think bringing his experiences in and sharing that with our kids made the experience for them that much richer.
Sam, what is your particular role on this project?
It's kind of a long answer.
Good.
Mostly, I'm a production assistant or a PA. It's sort of like a stage manager, except there's no stage to manage. So sort of I mostly am in charge of all of the other techs, and I make the cue stacks for our recorded sounds, and I make sure that everybody, like all the techs, have the right script and it's updated and everybody knows what they're doing and when to do it. And sort of I'm just in charge of the techs mostly.
I don't know what a cue stack is.
So we use this program called QLab, where we can take recorded sounds, like if you have like a car driving through a scene, obviously you can't have a car in the studio. So
Why?
you take, right? This is what I say. I'm like, why can't we have a car? Or why can't we actually have a gunshot? So in QLab, we can take these recorded sounds. We mostly convert YouTube links to MP3s and then throw them in, and then we can just play them whenever we want. We can just press go, and then we'll have a car driving across the stage magically. So any of our cues that we can't do in the studio, we do canned or recorded. So I'm in charge of making that stack. So I go through the scripts and be like, okay, so they need this here, so I'll chuck that in. That's cue like 11 or whatever. So yeah, and like all the music as well. So I'm in charge of all that.
Oh, you're going to go to Vancouver and you're never going to come home. I can tell.
Totally.
They're going to be like, stay here.
He's amazing.
Okay, I'm asking another question, Griffin. Soon you'll get a turn. Morgan, what is the play you are in? What can you tell me the plot? Can you tell me the character you're playing?
I'm in a play called The Blind Beggar Dies, and there's 5 of us in the group, but there's way more than 5 characters, so the majority of us play 2 or 3 characters. I play Spike and Doctor, and it's kind of about these, I don't want to give away too much, but you can see in the title, The Blind Beggar Dies. It's about a blind beggar that dies.
Spoiler.
And the blind beggar is killed, and there's this mysterious figure that is trying to find out who did the killing and to serve justice in the community.
I just need to ask if you said that you play a character named Bike?
Spike.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Maybe we'll cut all this out. I would have loved if... What's up? My name's Bicycle. I'm Bike. What's good?
I would love to play a character named Bike. That'd be so cool.
Goals.
When you get to your writing program, when you get to your writing class and they bring in some amazing person, then that's what you do. You call the play Spokes
Bike.
and you call your character Bike.
We're going to call the play Bike.
I'll do it.
Sorry, please continue with the plot. Oh my God, what an insane transition.
It sounds very murder mystery-ish.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you kind of know who the murderers are. It's kind of more about like cornering them and like the trickery of the main protagonist. I don't want to give away a lot, so you just have to listen to them.
No, it was good. It was enticing. This is maybe a little known fact. Mystery theater is maybe my favorite type of theater.
Me too. It's very fun.
So good.
I like it a lot.
Not done enough.
In grade 9, he had to write like a pretendy, some assignment in Calm or some class where you have to write a letter. I still have, because I don't delete everything, a letter that you wrote to Vertigo Theatre because you wanted to work there. But I think you were 14.
What did it say?
It said that you really liked Columbo Takes the Rap, which was one of the first shows you ever saw there.
That was a good show. Braden Griffiths kind of dressed up as a faux Eminem. Blonde shaved hair. Oh my God, I forgot.
Amazing. He would have been so young, like 18 or 19 at that point.
Just out of school.
Yeah, and he had the whole, he had a way too big hoodie, that mannerisms down. It was crazy.
Incredible.
And then you see him next in a show where he's a proper lanky British man. Boy, oh boy.
He's a chameleon. Speaking of chameleon, if you are playing Spike and Doctor.
And Bike.
You have to find specific character voices to make those two separate because you're playing 2 characters in the same radio play?
Yeah, so we were kind of like, Christian didn't want us to like go right away into accents, because if you're not good at an accent, it can turn into like funny very quickly. So I kind of, the Spike character is more of a evil character. So I just think about my like evil intentions and I hope that comes out in my voice. And I think usually it does. And then the Doctor is like the complete opposite. I do like put my voice a little bit higher and try to sound more like kind and, oh, I hope you're okay. Like, not like that, but kind of a bit more kind.
Have you met my friend Bike?
And I thought you might hate if I said, can you just do your voices? But
I know. As soon as the character's name is Spike, I go, oh, what do they sound like?
I want to hear it in the context of the radio play. I don't want to hear it now. It's like when you go on to do press for your improv company and they go, can you do some improv right now? And you're on like live TV at 6 o'clock in the morning with some host and you're like, hey.
Yeah. Oh,
yes,
you're an actor? Okay, act for me. Act for me. Do a joke.
Say something funny.
Say something funny. Also, listeners, just as like another enticement for checking out these radio plays, the other thing is Morgan could be totally lying. Okay,
It's
her character
true.
could be named Bike. We don't know for sure until you listen. So
Christian could be hearing this right now and deciding to change your character name to Bike. Wait, did he write the script or did you guys write your own scripts?
We found our own scripts online. There was like a week or a week and a half where we go online and find a script and then edit it and cut it down a bunch and like get rid of characters, combine characters, take out, because in lots of the radio scripts there's random commercials. So you take out the commercials and just cut things you don't need, add things you do need. Like you can change it up a little bit because we wanted the radio plays to be about 15 minutes. Like I think ours after we run it a few times with like sound effects and stuff, I think it's about 17 minutes. So that's like even a little bit long. But yeah, so we find our own and then change it.
I'll stick around for it. I'll stick around for those other 2 minutes. Griffin, I really want us all to do a radio play now. Can we? We should just do a radio
Yeah,
play.
you should.
are you asking me for permission?
I'm asking permission to make our guests act in a pretendy radio play right now.
Hey, guests, you're all actors? Oh, do a little joke. That's fun.
No, come on, here. I'm going to
marketing.
do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to use my radio play voice.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, I don't know what to do, Sam. Sam, my dog is outside and he's tied to the tree and I can't get the knot undone. What should I do, Sam?
Hey, Sam, sorry, as your legal counsel, you don't have to answer her.
Thank you, Griffin.
Yeah, I don't know if you read your Miranda rights before you were locked in this room with this woman, but yeah, anyway.
That was incredible writing. Like, if any play I saw started off with that
What are you
sentence,
talking
I'd be
about?
like,
The dog is tied to the tree, and the main crux of the thing is you can't get it untied? Cut the leash. Cut the leash, Darby.
I'm gonna say-
And make sure your jalopy runs fast.
Even though you could cut the leash, I was hooked on the voice. Like, I would gladly listen to that radio
Yeah,
play.
we need to bring you on for a special episode. I think that's how we
Yeah, the
we need
voice was
to.
great.
We release these in May, so I feel like we've got some time to actually organize this. If we want you guys to do the commercials in between the episodes.
hey,
Yeah.
this episode of The Blind Beggar Dies is brought to you by The Breakfast Dish. Why, it's a really great podcast and we have guests every morning,
really
don't
good.
we? That's the only voice I know how to do. Griffin, do you need to do brass tacks?
Well, I was going to say, let's get down to the brass tacks. This is going to come out March 29th, so people have some time to get prepped to listen to these plays. But when the time comes, and you'll have to remind me of said time, where do people go? How do people listen? Does it cost anything? Give me all the deets.
Yeah, so the brass tacks of the deets is that they are available online through our PVA website. So it's www.pvacentral.ca. And through that, there will be a link on the left-hand side that will take you to the radio episodes. If you are interested in checking out last semester's radio episodes, just to get a sense of what you're in for when they release in May, the new ones, they're up there right now. So you can actually go and listen. It's a great way to plug it in, go on a walk, go on a drive, whatever you do, clean the house and listen in because they're really wonderful from last semester. And so they're going to show up there in about, I want to say, early to mid-May. And of course, there'll be announcements on our website and Instagram and things like that. And you can follow us on Instagram as well. That's a great way to stay connected, PVA Central on Insta. And they are pay what you can. And a lot of our listeners, access for free if they're students, they're not working, things like that. That's fine, but it is pay what you can. And the proceeds from these episodes go towards our student learning moving forward. So that's how you can check that out. That's the brass tacks.
That's good brass tacking.
Did I use that right? I used that right?
Yeah,
I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I mean, there's no rules. This is all kind of chaos. We've been talking about bikes, and I guess that's the most chaotic.
Waffles, euthanization. We talked about a lot. We have covered a lot this evening. I just want to point that out.
That's right. And Karen hates guests and Griffin hates dogs, I guess is the message we're supposed to leave.
Yeah. I'm glad that you reminded us that last semester's plays are up there. I get a lot more of my house clean when I've got a podcast in my ears. So if I'm listening to radio plays, I'll probably even wash the fronts of my kitchen cupboards.
Yeah, they're very motivating. They really are. Yeah, and they're all mystery, thriller, sci-fi. They're all in that genre because we took them from like 1930s, 1940s radio productions that have already been produced, way back in the day. So way back, and just adapted them for modern, but the stories are essentially the same. They hold. So they are very thrilling. I enjoy listening to them.
I'm actually really glad you said something because, your kitchen cabinets are just revolting. I don't know how to...
Yeah, well, move back in and clean them then, kid.
Why? That's not a good argument for me to move back in. Usually it's something fun.
Who do you think dirtied them over the last 20 years?
I don't know. I'll keep cooking with cheese. Isn't that the commercial? It doesn't matter. The Breakfast Dish is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. The intro music you just heard and the outro music you're about to hear is by Alexandra Cowman. All graphic design for The Breakfast Dish has been done by Morgan Ermter. Karen, what else is going on this week?
Let me tell you what else is going on. Damn It, Tammy Productions in Edmonton.
Don't swear.
Says the guy who F-worded his ex-teacher.
I didn't ever.
Damn It, Tammy Productions is offering...
You're repeating it now.
Murder at the Park and Sleep In a Hotel. It started March 15th. It runs till April 15th. Private Dick Carl Jones, along with his stealthy sidekick,
Keep it. What are you talking about?
To investigate a gruesome murder at the Park and Sleep In Hotel. The one on 3rd Street. So this is available, from what I can understand, at all times to be found on the Damn It Tammy website, which is DAMMITAMMY.com.
Oh my God, you rapped for a second. That was killer.
I sure did. And speaking of rap, the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra. No, not really. The CPO.
Featuring Will.i.am. Don't. I hate when you do your rap grunts, but you think rap ad-libs are That's my least favorite.
CPO is offering city spaces. You can't go sit in and watch the orchestra now, but you can go to these particular spaces, I think, and socially distantly watch an individual or a duo of musicians play. But they're also live streamed. And once you sign up for free for one of these concerts on the website, they're available for 30 days following their premiere. So the concert in Contemporary Calgary Gallery starts on April 3rd. April 17th, it happens at the Fairmont Palliser. Go to calgaryphil.com. That's what else is happening this week, Griffin.
Yeah, I'm just in a grumpy mood because I'm 56, and I guess that when I had the first person that I thought of as a rapper to bring up to be fun and relevant was Will.i.am. Which is like, that's too bad. That's unfortunate. I was listening to rappers on the drive home, and I can't remember the last time I heard Will.i.am in my ears. But we have to move past it because how we like to wrap up Breakfast Dish episodes is Karen will ask you a breakfast-themed question that might have something to do with what we're talking about, but often is kind of left to the fields of chaos. But she has been touting that she is a professional improviser. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Sam, if you were a normal rap person right now, like you are a rap artist, what would your rap name be?
And not like a crazy rap person, like a normal one.
Modern. I'm trying to say modern.
I see.
What would your modern rap artist be? And it has to be a breakfast-themed name for this rap artist.
Well, we started this episode talking about frozen disco EGGOS, so I feel like something to do with that, but with Lil at the beginning. So like Lil Eggo.
I cannot even comment on how many boxes that checked for me in terms of comedy. I was like, because when I was ragging on myself about Will.i.am, I was like, I could have been like, what Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Pump, Young Gravy, like there's so many weird SoundCloud rappers. So I was like, okay, he's got to put Lil. And then he did the callback to Disco Waffle.
Okay, Morgan, your character Spike/Bike is evil. So what's the worst thing you would put on waffles to serve somebody as Spike?
Ooh, like sardines, some sort of fish.
Nice!
So yeah, right. So not too villainous, because it could have been like arsenic.
Well, you don't want to kill them. You just want to, like, make them uncomfortable.
That's right. Yeah, you dummy over there.
Miss Crimmins, if you had to describe your students at Central Memorial, maybe specifically these two students, in the metaphor of a breakfast item, how would you describe your students?
Thick cut pepper bacon, just bacon, the very best on the plate. Yeah.
That's why she's the teacher. She gets the hard questions and handles it with friggin' gusto. Booyah shakaya.
When Griffin came home from his first week at Central Memorial, he said, it's the closest thing I can get to Arts Trek without it being Arts Trek, which I thought was the best compliment.
That's amazing. I think Arts Trek is incredible. Yeah, more people need to know about it. More people need to be going. It's fantastic.
Okay, that'll be $75.
Yeah, I'll expect to see Sam and Morgan.
Yeah, definitely. On their way to Vancouver, BC.
Sorry, that'll be $75 for an ad spot.
We'll be there.
Sorry, ad spot. I know I said we'd wrap this up, but I do need to know Morgan and Michelle's reps names now, I think.
Okay.
I don't,
Yeah, that's fair.
Morgan, you go first.
I was thinking Lil Eggo, but then Sam stole it.
I stole your thunder. My bad.
Well, I mean, he didn't get brand names, so I would accept Lil Eggo.
I'd take Lil Eggo.
What about Waffleito? I feel like it's just like a tiny waffle.
Ooh.
Waffleito. You know?
I think Waffleito is great also.
Wafioso.
And Michelle, what's your rapper name?
Actually, I was given a rapper name when I was younger by some of my closest friends. It's Lil Crymons, Krymonz. So it's like Crimmins, but it's Crymons. Pretty fresh.
It sounds like a Pokemon that's sad. Crymons.
It really does.
We've kept you guys way longer than we said we would, but we've just had a blast. We really have.
Thanks.
This will be a long episode.
Yeah, this was really fun. It is a school night, but we do appreciate being here.
Gosh,
We've
it's
had a lot of fun.
Tuesday.
Don't tell your parents.
That's right. Don't tell your parents. But I lost a bit. It doesn't matter. We have to end the episode.
Bop, 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 bop.
This episode of The Breakfast Dish is brought to you by the Calgary Foundation, proudly supporting community needs for 65 years.
And they supported the needs of The Breakfast Dish for about a 9-month period.
They gave us our first grant, you're right. Whether someone is battling depression, fleeing domestic abuse, or worried about putting food on the table, it's times like these that inspire people to help others during a period of unprecedented needs.
They're a good team of folks.
They are a great team of folks. The Calgary Foundation is here to help. Through the generous support of donors, the Foundation offers a wide range of funding opportunities for organizations who share a common goal of building a healthy, giving, caring, and resilient community, one where everyone thrives. If you're a part of a registered charity looking for a grant, you are in luck because you can discover a wealth of resources at calgaryfoundation.org and learn more about the Calgary Foundation on their Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel.
Not only are they socially conscious, they're also socially, medially savvy.
Savvy.
This has been The Breakfast Dish.